everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. Before we get started, make sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. I would love to have you as part of my crafty family and it's completely free to subscribe. Now in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 items that you can get at Walmart for under $20 to personalize for gifts. This was such a fun video to put together and I really had fun making each of these 5 things. Now first we're going to talk about price. I have 3 of these items are only $5. The tray, this little wooden board, and this ceramic house. The blanket was $17.98, and then the dry erase board behind me was only $9.38. So everything is under $20 to get the item to personalize. What's great about personalization is you can really make those gifts pop, and that way you are good to go. You're going to look like you really put some thought into your gifts and people are going to love them. Now, I am not going to go into super detailed descriptions on how I created all of these, but I will put a bunch of links in the video's description to not only what we're using in the video to create all of our designs and our items, but I will also put links in the description for videos that are similar to the items that I'm doing here that you can use to help you make your own personalized items if you need a little bit more detail. So be sure to check those out, because this video was really fun to make and we're going to be making more of these in this series for the season. So if you have a specific store that you want to see me make some under $20 gift items from, let me know in those comments down below, because I'm always looking for what you guys want to see. So without further ado, let's get started. First thing that we're going to do is make a template for the area we have to work with and then add our text. You can use any style font that you want. It's up to you, just whatever you like. Then I ungrouped to letters by accident, so I just welded each line so that I could easily size them all to fit within that area. Then I want to add the year just because I think it'll be fun, and I make sure that that fits. We're going to go ahead and save our project and get it cut out. We're using Style Tech Luster in this really gorgeous red color. This cuts really beautifully on the vinyl setting for me with a little bit more pressure, so I just add more pressure. Then I'm gonna go ahead and weed this out. Now you'll notice that I pull the centers of the letters, like the little edges out. I just find with this vinyl that it weeds a little bit easier if I do that. This did cut a little deep because I just changed my blade. Now I'm gonna be using a medium tack transfer tape, and I'll link everything that I used to create these designs down below for you so you can make them as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and place this on to my ceramic little house, burnish it down really well, and I did have a little issue with a couple letters sticking, but I think it's just because it was really cold that day. So then I'm going to add the year, and now we have this really cute personalized design. You can obviously add the vinyl anywhere that you want to, add whatever text you want, and this is going to be a really gorgeous gift for just about anybody. It could be great for napkins or Christmas cards or even a little bit of a candle in there. I think secretly this one's one of my favorites. Again, always going to start with a template to help me size my designs. Now I'm going to use a couple different styles of text, but the first thing I'm going to do is add all that text in, and you'll notice that I use 3 different text boxes because I know that I want to use different styles of text for different parts. Now I do want to add some paw prints since all of our children are animals. We've got cats, a dog, and a guinea pig. So I just want to find a cute set of paw prints, and I'm just using ones from Design Space, but you can find whatever you want to use and it's up to you. Now those were a little too much, so I ended up going with the 3 paw prints, and then I just flip them so that they look really cute on either side. I'm going to use Align a couple of times right here just to make sure all the text and the paw prints are aligned evenly. And then I want to just make sure that I choose my font. Now I'm going to use a font duo for this, and I am going to then just change the names to the same font, change the word spacing a little bit because they were spaced out too far for those lines, and then just kind of align everything now that I've changed my font. You want to make sure everything's aligned the way you want it to before you cut. Now I do just want to attach everything because I'm going to cut it all on one piece of vinyl, and you'll see that I'm going to need a 12 by 24 mat for this. I'm I'm going to go ahead and cut this with some StarCraft HD in matte black. I think it comes out so pretty. This cuts beautifully, and you'll see in just a second how really easy it weeds as well. The nice thing is this just cuts on the vinyl setting, and you can get a 5-foot roll of this for like $2.85 and use code Corinne to save an additional 5% off of that already great price. Now, I weed usually like the top of my image if it's got like a script font first, and then I go through and weed the rest of it. Now, you'll see here I'm going to pull out all the centers of my letters, and this weeds super easy and super quick. Again, using some medium tack transfer tape, burnishing really well, and again, this cut a little deep, so you're going to see that I have a little struggle getting it off of my backing. It's just because it cut a little deep, so if it's doing that, you can just use less pressure. I cut all this without checking that, so it's fine. You just need to be a little careful when you're removing that backing. You can see that I'm folding it down really tight, and that I'm just very gently moving off the backing from each of the letters, and occasionally having to go back and press other things down. Now, I did pre-treat this wood with some Maker's Magic because the wood wasn't exactly as smooth as I would have liked. Then I just burnished this down. I did let that dry for 24 hours. Then I go ahead and place the vinyl, burnish it down, and see how easy it is to get that transfer tape off. It stuck so nice, it looks so pretty, and that matte really works with it. You can always add things around the edges of your tray as well, and really put anything that you like on your tray. These would be really cute for Santa trays as well, the one that has the little drink, the cookies, and like the family name on that, and the reindeer food. I think this one might be my favorite, and this one's really easy because we're just going to use an SVG, which again, I'll link down below. There's a whole bunch in this little bundle, and we're going to use this like fantasy reading one that I thought was really cute. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you size your design and you want to attach it because it was like a bunch of individual pieces. I'm cutting this on strip flock because with a blanket that's as fuzzy as the one that we're using, any regular HTV is going to show through any of that texture with the fuzziness. So I find that strip flock, glitter, even the brick looks really, really good. Now, this is actually pretty easy to weed. It kept ripping on me, but again, that was kind of my fault. But it did cut really, really well. And this cuts on the light cardstock setting for me, but you'll want to do test cuts if you've not used strip flock before. This was actually really fun to weed because it had lots of little areas, and I just loved revealing this dragon design, and it's such a pretty color. Strip flock's super easy to work with as well, and we're actually just going to use this Easy Press from Craft Express. Strip flock presses at 320 degrees for about 20 seconds, and you do want to use a medium pressure, so you'll note that I lean on this. Now, this is our really fun blanket. I just wanted to show you it all packaged up. You want to make sure you get all the packaging out of it. There are little things that hold it together, but you want to make sure you first preheat it, get rid of any of the moisture, and then I just like to kind of make sure the fluff's all facing the same way. Now, this carrier sheet isn't sticky, so I'm using some heat tape to help hold it down, and then a piece of butcher paper to protect my press from my strip flock. Again, I'm pressing it for 20 seconds, but I needed to press the top a little bit more because I couldn't quite get the press on the whole thing. So then I press it. You want to let this cool down fully before you remove that carrier sheet, because that carrier sheet can be a little bit tricky if it's not cool. But look at how pretty this came out. Any of those little pressing things will kind of work their way out if you have a little edge from the pressing, especially after it's been washed. This decorative recipe board's really fun. Again, I just used an SVG, makes things really easy, but I did need to adjust it a little bit because I wanted a little area behind the pie in order to layer on top of. So I just duplicated some things, contoured out pieces so that I could have a full pie piece to actually make a offset behind, because it's just going to make it easier when you go to layer it. So you'll see I kind of struggle a little bit to get it all selected, and there was a little piece that I missed. So all I'm going to do is select everything. I welded it just to make life easier, and then I made a little offset. Then all I want to do is line up my offset, line up all my black stuff, and then I'm going to attach the offset and the rest of the black design. Now I'm making a little template here because we've got a little arched board, so I just measured it, and that way I could get the design to the right size to fit on our board. This is going to cut with like 5 different colors, so I'm cutting each of those colors out individually. The black did take a while because it was super detailed, and I would recommend using a really high quality vinyl for this because it is super like small pieces. And again, for this, I used a variety of StarCraft HD, and I did use some Style Tech that I had left over because it had a better tan color for the pie, but it worked so well. And wait till you see how like this weeds and how I'm going to do the weeding, because with these small details, sometimes weeding can be just a little bit scary. So you want to take your time with the weeding, but you can see here how quickly I really got everything cut out. I think it only took about 7-8 minutes to get through all of the colors and everything cut out and ready to go. I cut everything on the vinyl setting, and then here I am weeding it. Now you'll notice that I'm not going to weed the black. The black, because it is so detailed, I'm going to weed it a different way, and I will show you that. Now I first want to apply the orange. Now I'm going to be honest with you. I at first did not treat this wood. I didn't put any coating on it, and I went back and did the coating because it was having a hard time sticking. Now I'm removing this orange piece of the pie so that I can put it over the black because of the way I needed to layer everything. And you'll see that here in a minute. But I really struggled getting this orange to stay down. So I did go back, I recut the orange after I took it off. And then I treated the wood with some Maker's Magic. Again, I'll link everything I used, including Maker's Magic, in the video or in the description down below. Now you can see how tiny these little letters are. They're itsy bitsy teeny little letters. Those weeded really, really well because it was a smaller area. I was fine with doing that one by itself. Now that part's going to go on top of this little orange area, and I'm just going to go ahead and layer that like I would any other vinyl that I'd be layering. I do want to take my time, obviously removing the backing, making sure all the pieces stay down. Burnish that, and then you can remove your transfer tape. Now you'll notice that I'm going to weed this a little different. I'm taking out all of the centers of my letters, my numbers, whatever's there, all the tiny, tiny dots. Then I'm going to place some transfer tape on that without removing the main portion of the backing. I'm just going to take the paper backing off, and I'm going to apply it to my board with all the backing on. Then I'm actually going to weed it so that I'm taking the main portion of the vinyl backing off. This is a great option if you are doing really small detailed letters. Now you'll notice that it did stick a little bit when I have it over the orange part, but that's okay because you can just weed it and peel it off. I'm going to do the same thing here with the top section of the wording because it is a little bit detailed. I just find that this works really well for detailed items. Now you'll notice that the orange is on there. I pre-put the orange down for the pie. Now again, all I'm doing is taking my time, but if you look, you can see that I have an E, 2 E's, and an A. Those fell off, not a big deal. I put those over to the side on the vinyl backing, and I'll use some tweezers to replace those letters when I'm done weeding. That happens from time to time, especially with doing small designs. So just keep those on hand right next to you, and you can just place those back on with a pair of tweezers. You don't have to like fret about it. It's really easy to do, and it really saves you from having to like go through such a hassle. But those letters may fall off, and that's totally okay. Just keep them to the side. I weeded all these little teeny details, replaced those letters, and then I'm left with this really gorgeous bowl. Now I do have to put my pie back together, which is so cute. And I'm going to put the little whipped cream on and look at and see how tiny those details are. They are so, so small. And I think they came out really, really, really gorgeous. I absolutely love how this project came out. And I hope you guys will try this one too. This one might be my favorite. I think this one's really fun. So I downloaded a customizable family calendar from Creative Fabrica, which again, I'll link below so you can find it if you want to make this. We're going to be doing some resizing and some slicing. So again, starting with a template of the size of our board. And then all I want to do is I'm going to slice this apart because obviously the way that it's like organized on here doesn't really work. So I needed to weld that entire design first. Then I'm going to put a box over the different parts that I want to slice out. So I want to slice out the bottom and get rid of that. I want to keep this calendar portion as is, and then I want to keep just that notes section, and I actually only want to keep the word notes. I really don't need those lines. They cut weird. They're not it for me. So I got rid of kind of everything, but I did want to add the notes back in, so I had to go back, slice it out of the main thing because I accidentally deleted it. It's okay, no big deal, not the end of the world. You can just kind of play around with it and figure out the way you want your calendar to look. I ended up getting rid of the words family planner and the little leaves on there. They just weren't really matching what I wanted it to look like. So I was going to contour them out, and then I realized that what a pain, and that would be too hard. So I would just slice them out instead, because it'd be a lot quicker and a lot easier and much cleaner. So all I did was slice it out and deleted it, and then I'm going to add my own text. Now you can add anything you want here. It's really up to you, but I just did the Blackstone's plans. And then choose a font that you like, whatever you want to do with it, and you're good to go with that part. Now, this is a pretty big design, and you got to remember that the Cricut can only cut certain width and certain length depending on which one you have. I'm using the Maker, so I can only do 11.5 wide by 23.5 high if I'm not using smart vinyl, which I'm not because I hate smart vinyl. So I cut these down so that they would fit on the 12 by 12 sheets, which you can see here. I'm just going to slide the notes up to save myself a little bit of vinyl, but you can see I cut on 2 separate pages, and I'm just going to be using, again, StarCraft HD in matte. StarCraft HD is my favorite vinyl, if you guys didn't know, and it is fantastic. And again, use code Corinne if you want to save when you shop. I love 143. They have great products. They always work really well. Now this cut out really, really easy, super quickly. It's just going to cut 2 different sheets of vinyl with the 2 different sections of our calendar on it. Now I did have to split that calendar in half, and I did it so that I was able to line up the lines and make it look nice and professional, and that way everything's lined up really evenly. So I didn't cut it directly on a line, I cut it just a little to the side of one of the lines, which hopefully you'll be able to see kind of what I talk about when I weed this second section. You'll see there's a little bit of an edge to the line right next to the flat line. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully you'll see it. Weeding this was really, again, very, very easy, super simple to do, only took a couple minutes. Everything came out really, really quick and simple. Now, I cut them apart, and look, I love this section because you get all the things. You get dry erase, you get the magnets, you get the board, good to go, and it was under $10. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some medium tack transfer tape, if you don't know, still my favorite, and I'm going to go ahead and place down my decals. I'm going to burnish them down, and then I'm going to trim them apart, and I'm only going to work with one part of the calendar first. Now I'm going to fold down just a little bit of the backing so that I can line it up. There's tons of ways to line up large decals. This is just one way I choose, but you can do it a lot of different ways, and I'll show you a second way in the next part. But I'm just lining this up, making sure it's even, and then I'm going to peel the backing off. And I want to do this gently because, again, it did cut a little bit deep. So you're going to see that I do go in with my pin pen and adjust a line or two every once in a while because they did decide to come up with the paper. But honestly, it was fine. It just took me a little bit longer than normal, and it was on me that happened. That has nothing to do with the vinyl or the cut or anything like that. It was because I cut too deep with my new blade. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish this down. And the great thing is white board, like this dry erase board, loves vinyl, and vinyl loves it, so it sticks so nicely. Now I'm going to come in with some parchment paper for the second part because I need to line them up. So again, medium tack transfer tape, go ahead and trim that off and burnish it down. Then I'm going to take the backing off the entire design. And again, you're going to see that I struggle just a little bit with those lines, but it's okay, not a big deal. It was fine. No harm, no foul. It just took a little bit longer. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that parchment paper to help me line it up. Vinyl doesn't stick to parchment paper, so you're going to be able to adjust and move your vinyl as you go using this method. And I've got those little lines, you see where they don't have the horizontal, or is that the vertical? The vertical line. There is just a little nub on the other ones that I can line them up with to make sure that everything lines up really nicely. Now you'll see that I adjust this, and you can see the top of my head because I needed to get really good and above it to make sure everything was adjusted. I left just a little edge of that vinyl hanging over to get it stuck to the design. I don't know why it gets so dark here, I'm sorry. But you can see that I'm going to go ahead and press this down, and I did have to lift it up a little bit. I got just a teeny tiny wrinkle, but I was able to press it out, so it wasn't a big deal. Peel that off, and then I'm going to add the little notes section, and I'm going to get everything ready to go, and then I just make sure everything's well stuck down. I'm also going to add our name at the top, and again, do whatever you want. You don't have to add the name. Just thought it was a fun way to kind of personalize this a little bit more. And this is honestly super inexpensive because I think even if you added how much vinyl you used, you're only looking at maybe a $13 project. So it's super easy, honestly, pretty quick and really fun. And this is something that I feel like a lot of families can use because we're all busy and we all know that. Stick that notes section down and then look at how cute this comes out. You've got all sorts of areas to write on. You've got so much great information. And this is something that they're going to be able to use throughout the year and for years to come. I hope you all had a great time checking out these 5 items that you can get from Walmart for under $20 to personalize for a gift. Now, don't think just because we did this around Christmas time that you can only personalize gifts for Christmas. I think a lot of these gifts would be perfect for any season, especially things like this dry erase board would be great for somebody going off to college, a wonderful addition to a dorm room. This would be great for even like a new mom or a mom whose kids just started school. You know that we all get busy with that kind of stuff. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled. You can always find wonderful products that you can just add a little pizzazz to and make them look a little extra special. If you guys have any questions, let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those. And make sure you tell me what store you want to see a $20 gift list from. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting!